you cannot say like you're good enough. You know, you know for a fact that you're good. It's just that people are striving also to be better. People are striving also to be good, to be great on what their crafts are or what they do. And so you cannot be, like idle even just for a moment, or like, just do nothing. It's always a decision, and it's always you have to choose to do it every single day, even if it's hard, even if you felt like some things are not working on my favor. You just have to do it. You just have to keep on reminding yourself, I need to and I must. And you have to choose it every day.
Welcome, everybody, back to Sean's Learning Adventure. This is a podcast that talks all about communication and learning to present yourself in a fun way. And no better guest to have than the one sitting right in front of me. Now, would you like to tell people who you are and what you do?
Okay, hello everyone. I am Jethro Sulayao, your international pageant coach and catwalk, or should I say passerella trainer. Yeah, and I'm based in Vietnam. Yeah.
Now, how did you get into becoming an international pageant coach? I mean, I know that you came to Vietnam, but from coming to Vietnam to becoming this international pageant coach, where did that begin and how did that start?
Okay, so prior to me,
Big question, right?
yeah, prior to coming to Vietnam, I was actually a model before, and I used to
Nice.
go to, because I have a manager before who trains catwalk for beauty queens, and I keep on observing and stuff like that. But I don't have the because in the Philippines, like put it in a context, like a Christian country where not all types or forms of jobs are really accepted. And so like me wearing stilettos or like, doing the catwalk with hips side to side and being soft is not really a thing.
Yeah.
Especially when my dad is a pastor, and so it's kind of
wow.
hard to really get out of the shell, even if it's just being creative, because there are a lot of some guys who does catwalk and teach catwalk, but they're straight. The thing is that with me, it makes it double harder because my dad is a pastor, and I'm a big guy, I'm a tough guy, so it's like I don't see myself doing it, and I don't give myself the chance to do it because of what other people might say. So, that kind of thing. And so when I got into so I've been teaching. When I came to Vietnam, at first I was teaching, right? Then we managed this Miss Supranational 2013. So basically, she did like some training as well with us. And one time, she just said, "Why don't you try it?" Because she has a flight to Poland. She arranged prior an appointment with someone, and so she said, "I cannot take the job." So what I did was like, okay, let's try. And it just took it. It's basically, she's supposed to train Miss Teen International Vietnam, who will represent Vietnam to the competition, to the pageant.
Okay.
And so it's basically an experiment of like me doing it. And also my partner was like putting insights and stuff. But then I'm half-hearted because I'm teaching, like my full-time job is a teacher. Then suddenly I'm jumping into another job, which is representing, like training someone that will represent Vietnam in an international stage. And imagine, it's like 29 years they've been sending candidates to that pageant, but never really made it to the cut, like even top 10, no. Until when we trained her, and then suddenly, boom, crown for Vietnam. And it really like a 360 degrees that, To be honest, I mean, to be fair, like, I still love teaching English.
Yeah.
But after that, I lost the interest in going to the school to teach English. I just want to focus on
Yeah.
this. And yeah, that's what happened.
And so you started going down this path, and you know, the definitely was a following your passion versus playing it safe type of vibe, because a lot of us will have these dreams where, well, I want to do this, but this is
Mhm.
safe and this is safe and it's easy. But was there a moment where you had to choose between stability and passion? And what mindset helped you make that decision?
Oh God, that is actually a tough question. I keep on contemplating, like,
Mm-hmm.
how would I answer this question in a way? Because, of course, got bills to pay,
Right.
visas, and I'm not living like in the Philippines. If I'm living in the Philippines, I would just like, okay, all out passion. But I'm in
Mm-hmm.
another country where, it's different. I need to do stuff my own. And like, I cannot rely on family, on my dad, on my mom. And so I was like, okay, if I'm going to, will I abandon stability, or I just go for the passion? But then what I've had in my mind when I was like thinking, I think what really makes it difficult is the blind curve of being reckless. It's like,
Yeah.
when you're reckless with your decision, it's like, okay, I'll do passion, but what will happen to the bills that I need to pay, to things that I need to
Right.
cater to? And so
Right.
so basically that's what I did. Is like, what I did was like, okay, I still keep on teaching,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, okay, let's put it this way. you know um don't quit your job just because you're passionate about something. That's what I have in
Yeah.
mind. It's like, I didn't quit my job because I want my job to fuel the passion that I have. What if it's all like
Mm-hmm.
passion, passion, passion? Then suddenly, you'll run out of resources. Because let's be honest, pageant is not like every day. Pageants are seasonal. So there's a season like
Yeah.
June to December. That's pageant. But
Mm-hmm.
from January onwards until June or July, there are no pageants. So what I'm gonna do with that?
Yeah.
And so what I did was, okay,
Wow.
um, I'll work full time in the morning, but I tell the girls that if you really want me to handle you as a trainer, or if you want us like RNJ as a trainer, then we have to wait. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
compartmentalizing your feelings also need to be there.
Mm.
It's like, it's not just, okay, like a spur of the moment, like, oh, I wanted to do this, then I'll quit my job. No,
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to be logical. You have to, have that sense of thinking that, okay, what are the consequences of these actions? So I need to put it that way. But, while pursuing my passion until such time where I know that I can, or like, I can do it already with my partner, is like, okay, I'll stop working, and yeah, we'll do it like full time. So you have to
Mm.
wait. You have to have the right time. There will always be that instance that you say like, okay, I think I can do it already. And when my
Yeah.
partner says like, I think we can do it already without your daytime job, and this time I
Mm.
was like, okay, that's a go signal to quit. And then we focus on
Mm-hmm.
this to make it bigger. And my partner also quitted his job. And so
Wow.
at first, it was like little by little, little step, little step, little step, because we need to consider our daytime job. But then
Right.
once we said like, okay, we can already do this without our
Mm-hmm.
daytime job, and it suddenly is like, boom. And it was like a name. Our names are like out there. Our faces are on the billboards. And I think You just have to have the right moment, and you will have that gut feeling like, okay, now I can stop doing the daytime job. But yeah, as what you say, like jump into passion is not really like okay, especially when you're not
Yeah.
stable, financially stable.
Hmm.
But then, yeah, when you're financially stable, then basically it's easier to do your passion.
100%. And I think that that's the thing. Like, you hear about different ways that people do it, and I've heard people that burn the boats. You go forward no matter what. But at the same time, burning the boats is not always a good decision. You burn the
Hmm.
boats, and suddenly you have some problems. But
True.
instead, um, I think one of the things that always stuck with me is I try to remember that there's room for all of it. There's room for your creativity. There's room for stability. There's room for this. And there's no right way. Like, if I know one friend that was building their side hustle while they had a main job. I have another friend who just quit everything and went the other way. And I think that, like, life is about having a goal that you're looking towards, and then figuring it out around along the way. Maybe you do this,
Sure.
and maybe you have to go do this, and I think that being forgiving of yourself as you figure it out, but keeping your eyes toward your North Star, keeping your vision
Sure.
toward what's really important to you.
Yeah. Basically, it's like, what is the priority? Like, you can do
Yeah.
things all at the same time, but will these things contribute for you to elevate and to get what you want? Yeah,
100%.
that's why I agree with what you said a while ago. There's no specific formula because I think that we have our own ways or ways on how we can reach our dreams. Some things will
Yeah.
work for us, but then some things won't. I mean, will work and some things won't work. And I think the thing is that you just keep on pushing forward
Right.
because whenever you feel like when you think like, oh, maybe another pit stop and maybe this is not for me. What if tomorrow it's your big thing? It's like what if tomorrow is your break and you just stop right there just because you felt like, oh, this is not for me. There's a lot of problems like coming. You just go forward.
Hmm.
I think that is the best
Just
way because life doesn't. I mean, life didn't come with a manual on how to run it. It's all
right.
trial and error.
100%. Like, I wish that there was a book that said, this is how you do it. But there's not. And I mean, and you figure it out along the way. But I mean, part of it is, and like I've been doing this as well. I've been reinventing myself through my podcasts and through the content that I create. But I hear people that are talking about reinventing themselves, and a lot of times people feel stuck in the identity they started with. Whether that be the teacher, the father, the winner, the loser, whatever that person is, that
Hmm.
they're like, this is who I was. How do you mentally give yourself permission to evolve from one place to another, especially to becoming this international coach? Like, how did you do that? What was the permission? Like, is it like, today we need to do this, or did it take time to like give yourself that permission?
Actually, when it comes to like permission into like evolving into something, I did some rain check. Because sometimes I don't know if you have this feeling that, oh, I'm okay with where I am right now, and I just stay here. You know,
Mm,
because I think sometimes, like what you said, like being on the safe side sometimes is a good thing also. But
mm,
gambling also is like at least you don't have the what ifs. What if I did this? What if I do this? But it's actually more on when people started saying that we need you. This time, and I kind of like said I need to evolve every now and then. Like I'll put it in the context of like the pageantry. Pageantry is evolving every single season or every single day, to be honest. Before your walk could be like really tame and stuff. But suddenly, after you sleep, and suddenly like there's a new catwalk version, there's new way of answering a question, there's new way every single day. And I think getting yourself or letting yourself be stuck in that kind of moment, people will go way past you, and the next thing that you know, you're irrelevant already. And that is the context where I'm at right now. It's like, how did I allow myself to like reinvent myself to go to the fullest potential? It's like, you know, I checked, like, we've trained girls, like a lot of girls, and I really check, like, we've checked, like, are we doing well? Maybe, sometimes you have this question of like, maybe this isn't really for us, maybe that season is just for us, but then the next season was like, oh, maybe not anymore. So, we had a range check of like, if we do good on this pageant and we place this girl, then we'll step it up a little higher, or like one step, higher. And those are the things that really we kept in mind. And so it's not really a question of like, do, do you have like a, when did you like decide it? No, it's like a decision of, I must, you know, every single day I must elevate myself,
Every single
elevate
day I
everything
must.
every single day. Because I think everything and everyone is replaceable. You cannot say
Yeah.
like you're good enough. You know for a fact that you're good. It's just that people are striving also to be better. People are striving also to be good, to be great on what their crafts are or what they do. And so you cannot be, like idle even just for a moment, or like, just do nothing. It's always a decision, and it's always you have to choose to do it every single day, even if it's hard, even if you felt like some things are not working on my favor. You just have to do it. You just have to keep on reminding yourself, I need to and I must. And you have to choose it
Yeah.
every day.
I love Jocko Willink. He's this former Navy SEAL, and he says when bad things happen, good. When something comes along that forces you to have a challenge, good. I
Sure.
had a horrible day yesterday. It was next to awful. I've been building my company, and I got some news that a client of mine is pulling back some of their work, and it's going to be not fun. And it showed me, and I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? Bad thing happens, good. I need to diversify. I need to get more clients in more different sectors. I was sitting there thinking about that, and it's really easy to sit there, but why? But that's the fastest way to get yourself into trouble.
True.
I think instead we should change it to yes and. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes and. Something bad happened. Yes. And what? Something was challenging. Yes. And what are you going to do about it?
True.
Something made you upset. Yes. And what will you do now? It's like I had this one situation where I had a client who was really, challenging. So, let's look up all their competitors, reach
True.
out to them, you know? Yes. And, yes. And so my point being, it's all about what you are willing to do with you,
True.
and what you can do, because again, you can't wait for the world. You can't wait for everyone around you to fix it for you. You have to do it yourself. And I
True.
wanted to ask you this because a lot of that takes a mindset thing. And, and I see these amazing, powerful women come to you for coaching. And coaching confidence is not always easy. When you work with a Miss Universe or international pageant contestants, what is the first thing you fix? Is it posture? Is it mindset? Is it voice? Is something else?
Mm,
What are you working with them on?
what's funny is that because I'm a graduate of AB Mass Communication, so it's like, but then it's like the communication per se. We do directing, we do a lot of stuff about media, but it didn't really like came to my mind that we'll be catering to what contestants that are what top notcher in like law examinations, like those type of people who's like in the court and battling, divorce or like getting this type of things. Some are doctors, some are from NASA, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's an honor for us like at RNJ to be like coaching them. But what we always tell them first is like we always have this question of, are you willing to submit, remove whatever you've
Mm.
learned, and relearn? So that's what our first question
Mm-hmm.
is. Because if not, we cannot, pour water into a full cup. You have to be empty. And we always ask them first that type of question. It's like, are you willing to submit? Because if not, then you don't need us. But the first thing that
Mm.
after they say like, yes, okay, I want to be trained by you guys. And so the first thing that we do is like the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever we see in you that is really great, whatever we see in you that is really, we know that you can make it. But if you second guess yourself or doubt yourself, then basically we cannot do anything about that. And so we build first
Mm.
their mindset on who are you. You know, it's basically having them believe that they are the winner already. You're just joining that competition just to take the crown. So it's just a
Mm-hmm.
formality. That's what we keep on telling them.
Yeah.
During the training, we always tell them, who are you? And they will be always saying, da 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 da, my name is, no, I'm asking, who are you? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm this. I was like, again, I'm not gonna, say this again. Who are you? And we say like, oh, I am Miss Universe or I'm Miss International. I don't hear the conviction. We don't hear the spirit. We don't
Yeah.
hear the energy. Shout, who are you? Then this time that's like, okay, again and again, and keep on repeating and repeating and repeating until, it becomes how they think. And so we go first with the mindset before we do the physical training. Because we think that when your mind is conditioned to do greater things, your body just follow. When your mind is
Yes.
conditioned to creating difference, to living who the past you are and taking up on that power, then your body performs as well. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
happens, when your
I
mind is, when your mind is working greatly, everything just flows smoothly. So we thought like,
yeah.
and we believe that it's always the mind conditioning first before you do the training. It's always like that.
I love it because it's like so often, I played sports when I was younger.
Mhm.
And I played volleyball. And it was interesting because there was a time period where when I was playing volleyball, the California school systems were cutting a lot of budgets. So they cut the budget for a lot of different teams. And so my school, which was a very small school, ended up being able to play in this club pool with all of these other teams. But the thing is that our team was very small, but we were playing against some club teams that were very, very, very big, like top schools that had also had budget cuts to their sports program, and they were in the club pool as well. And so we went up against this school that was a absolute top-notch school. It was not a low-level school, and we were getting ready for the game. And what happened was that my coach pulled us aside, and he looked at us and he says, "All right, guys, you got one of the biggest games that you're all going to have of your time. I want to ask you a question. Yes, do you believe that you can win?" And I was like, "Oh," he's like, "Before you even step on that court," and like we were like, "Well, you know what? These guys are so good." He's like, "That's a no. That's a no. If you cannot answer to me, yes, we believe we can win. If you cannot say that immediately to me, don't go on the court."
Sure.
And and he said, at any point in time, anyone can win, but it comes down to mindset, and you have to be willing to step up and see what you can accomplish.
Sure.
I want to ask you this, like, in pageants, it's really challenging. Like I had someone come on the podcast yesterday and she said that she'd been preparing for the podcast for 2 weeks. And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "I'm a non-native English speaker. This is literally the most terrifying thing I have ever done. A
Actually, it's
1-hour
so true.
conversation." A 1-hour conversation in like English. She's like, "Oh my God." And I wanted to ask you this because, like, in pageants, contestants have to answer, they have seconds to deliver powerful answers.
Mhm.
How do you train someone to think clearly and speak confidently under that type of pressure? It's really hard.
So what's funny is like even we're training them to speak their mind. Sometimes we ourselves have like that brain fart. Sometimes it's like, oh God, what is a good answer for that? But we don't really like teach them how to answer like a verbatim, or like, okay, you have to have a specific line that you have to say in the beginning, or you have to have a specific line that you have to do towards the end. But we always tell them that be updated with what's happening, maybe political issues, but avoid political issues. That sorry, social issues, women empowerment issues, everything that has something to do with the world that we're living in. And so, but we created some structures, that we train them. Okay, so for example, like a structure of acknowledge the question, answer. After that,
Mm,
supporting point. So why did you answer that? Then after that, go for the ending or closing note. But we only tell them to like see the structure, remember the structure like the back of your hand, but don't
mm,
create something like a memorized one, because people know when you memorize things. It's like,
yeah.
oh, like Oprah said, or oh, like this famous person said that the children are our future, and da 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 da. Oh my God, I know already that you memorize that line, and judges are
Yeah,
not
right.
stupid not to know that. They've been listening to a lot of
Hmm.
questions every single year, and they know when you memorize that line or you can have that line. So what we always say, like, especially my partner is the one training for that. We always say like, okay, when you're about to do the question and answer, forget everything. Even the things that
Hmm.
we studied, forget it. Because once you started thinking, oh, this is the structure, this is the da 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 da, da, then that's the time that it clouds your mind. Listen to the question, look for the keywords. What are the keywords? For example, a woman in the workforce, prove women empowerment. Talk
Mm,
about that. Because once you started
yeah.
to like, sometimes there are questions that are women in the workforce are given little acknowledgement, da 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 da, and they focus on the first line. Then they forget that the question is really like under, like, what do you think, or how can you prove that women empowerment exists in the workforce in the or in the office area? So they focus on the first one instead of like focusing on the keywords of the question. And so we always tell them focus on the question for the keywords of the question. Don't take the question as a whole. What are the
Mm,
keywords? And that's sometimes you may not answer the question, but when you sound right, when you started strong, you sound right. People sometimes don't really like look at it as like, oh, she didn't answer the question. But the thing is that how did you answer the question? Because most of the time,
yeah.
um, there's no right or wrong in a question and answer, because they're navigating and they're trying to like gauge your how you handle the moment, how you like say your answer. Is it trembling? Is it in a way that not powerful, or are you like glancing on side to side and picking up for the answer? You know, it's on the composure. It's on basically how you sound. And so we always say like, remove whatever we've learned. But if you can think of the structure, it's better. But answer it
Yeah.
by the keywords. So yeah, it's not really easy.
One of the things that I was thinking of that there was this, like when you start approaching something, if I tell someone, I want you to climb this mountain, that's hard. Climbing a mountain is not easy, you know?
Mhm.
It is not an easy thing to do. You sit there and you're like, oh my goodness, how can I go about climbing this mountain? It's like something that, you might not know how to do. And so you sit there and you think about it and you overthink, and then suddenly you just give up and you don't climb anything
True.
because you thought so hard about the process and you got so in your head that you didn't try it. Instead, maybe you can sit there and go, I need to, for my business, I need to add, I want 6 new clients in the next 4 months. Okay. If I sit there and go, oh my God, what can I do? How do I do that? I need a new website. That's the place to start. I need a new website.
True.
I've got a trip back to Napa where I've been building my podcast, and I've been doing a wine podcast. I have 12 invitations to different wineries to come film for them. 12 invitations to come there, do wine tasting, and film my experience wine tasting. So I'm like, 12 open
Good
invites.
job.
Like I need 4 clients, but I got 12 people coming in and asking me to come film. Obviously not all of them are going to turn into stuff, but my point being, if you try to think about something that's super far out, you're
Sure.
going to go crazy. If you try to think
Yeah,
about the whole
actually,
answer,
yeah.
like let's break it into pieces,
True. Yeah, it's one of like in the course that our NJ pageant camp is doing. We always say like, don't find the answer too far from you. Start from yourself. For example, your family. Simple situations that you can, remember you're doing inside a family. Then you find your way out. Don't go on like, like for example, just a little. I know it's a little bit, okay, but like for example, some girls are being asked, like for example, in Miss World, uh, how can you, using your platform, how can you change the world? And it's like, I'm not even a queen myself yet. I'm in the pageant and answering question and answer. I don't have the crown yet. Second is that I'm not like a president who can talk to the national or the United Nations and stuff like that, And so what can I do to my platform? It's like, you always tell like, okay, what can you do? You're an influencer. Use your influence. What? In the medium of what?
Yeah.
IG, FB. Start with that. Don't go on board like, I will talk to the president. I will talk to the leaders of the world. No, don't go there. Start here. Start on the
Right.
simple things that you can do.
I was talking to, you would have loved this conversation. I had a conversation with a news reporter that did sports news. So she was the sideline reporter for a big sports team, right? And I just absolutely destroyed the IELTS in that conversation. And I said, stop trying to sound smart. Stop trying to sound like you know what you're talking about. Keep it simple, keep it direct, and keep it authentic. Because like everyone, I know when someone's been trained to sound smart, because they talk in circles. I think that the most important thing that we can do for the diversification of the bifurcation, and you're like, what? Do you even know what those words mean? Like, I mean, do you like, you're throwing words out there, and like, instead, like, I love the authenticity of, someone asked, how would you change the world? Well, I'm doing it right now. I'm making this video. This video is starting a conversation. And then after this video is done, I'm going to get my team to edit it, and we're going to post it, and we're going to cut it into reels, and we're going to show it, and we're going to share it. We're going to tag people. And hopefully one person watching this will go, man, what's the one thing I can do today? What's the one thing I can do to become more successful today? And if you can figure out the one thing, not the 5 things, not the 10 things, the one thing that you can do next, you
Sure.
can get there. You can get there.
Sure. So start, the
I want to
things.
ask,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You got to line them up. Voice and presence, though, you coach voice and walk, which are both about presence. What do most people misunderstand about like presence, executive presence, and stage presence, and all types of presence? Because talk to me about that. I'd love to know more.
I think this is on our perspective that the most actually there's a specific thing that I want to really like say. Uh Executive presence, or like the presence as a whole, becomes difficult. Becomes difficult when people try to overdo it. Oh, I need to be like prim and proper. Or I need to like have this specific demeanor and stuff like that. No, that is not presence. That is presence, but people can see you're fake. You know. But the thing is that with the presence, it's supposed to be shouting from inside out. It's not what you actually do, but it's what it. Let's go back here on your mindset. When you train to have the type of mindset. So I'll be a queen. I'll be a queen. I'll be a queen, or like I'll be the winner. How would you behave? That's the first question. See, and now when you know that you're a queen, then that's the time that okay. So this is a queen should behave. But we always say, don't overdo it. Like, oh, I need to be extra soft. And, oh, no, that's not how we do it. It's about being real, but in a controlled manner, in a decent manner. You don't have to have like, I don't know, but I don't know. I don't hate these people who's like acting in front of like a fine dining. Who's like, oh, she knows everything, like the fork that will be used for the cake, the knife, the fork. And I was like, those things you can learn that, but the attitude behind that will speak more. Even if like I don't know the fork, but I act classy. I do it like in a nice way, in a decent, in a more respective way. And I might look better than those people who are 100% know what these calories are for. You know? So it's basically more on being real, being authentic, but at the same time decent enough to be, you know, that people can admire you through your actually the way you talk, the way you treat people. I think that's much more, if it does make sense, okay? Because a lot of people knows this etiquette, this executive presence thing, but the way they treat people, the way they talk to people is like, oh, you're a person like high here, so I compartmentalize. Okay, you're the boss, so I'll treat you this way, and you're here, so I'll treat you that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not
Right.
like that. It's more on the attitude towards other people and the attitude that radiates from within. Because everyone can learn how to those type of things, but the attitude behind that, the positive vibes that's coming out, that's the real one, not the fake one.
I got to work in Hollywood, and I got to work with this really famous people. But what was interesting to me was that I got to work in a hair salon in Hollywood. And it
Love it.
was really funny because I know nothing about hair. I know nothing about fashion. I am not your fashionista. My wife dresses me nicely, thank God. But
I agree.
it it's thank God that she helps me, and I'm just wearing a black t-shirt today. She'd kill me. But the fun thing is I got to work at this hair salon that was below this one bar in Hollywood. Now, this bar in this hotel was the Sunset Tower Hotel, which used to be the Argyle Hotel. Now, the Sunset Tower Hotel is famous because it hosts one of the biggest parties of the year after the Oscars. It hosts the Vanity Fair party every year. Now, what's interesting about that is for the week leading up to that party, that bar every single night is a who's who of Hollywood. Like everyone that's anyone's there. And I remember going up to that party and my friends were like, "Hey, come on up for a drink." And I'm like, "No, man, it's not my vibe. I don't, I'm dressed like a bum. I just finished work." And they're like, "You're an actor. You've studied acting. Come upstairs for this party." And I was just like, "It's not a party, like just people having drinks. Come on up." And I was like, "Okay." So I go upstairs and I go in the room and it's really dark in there and it's super crowded. I mean, it is standing room only. There are no seats. So we kind of push our way in at the bar because everyone was pushing their way in at the bar. And the place was packed. And like as my eyes started adjusting, I'm wiping them, and it's like the dark room is getting brighter. I start looking around the room. And it was like a dream to me because I was like, all these people seem really recognizable, but like I don't know. All of a sudden I realized it was everyone. It was everyone from Hollywood. I look over, there was Brad Pitt there, George Clooney there, Matt Damon there, Anthony Mackie there, like what was it? Her name? It was everyone. It was everyone. Stanley Tucci was there. Sophia Loren was there. And like, I'm not exaggerating. These are all people that were, Sophia Loren was in the room. And I was just like, oh my God, Sophia Loren. And it was amazing. And everyone that was coming in the room was just, like just starstruck. But they were all the stars, but yet it was amazing. Now, suddenly the room went quiet, like super quiet. And I just was like, what is happening? And I turn and Meryl Streep walks in the room. Devil Wears Prada, Meryl Streep walks in the room in a white dress that was like angelic gown. And she walked in the room. She did not look side to side. She did not see who was looking to her at her. She walked in and was just there. She was Meryl Streep. And she didn't need validation. She was validation in that moment. She was all the validation that she needed in that moment. And she just, and if I ever want to think about how to enter a freaking room, that's how you do it. She owned the room. She walked in and she's like, this is my room now. And it was her room now. And like everyone turned and looked at her and like Stanley Tucci jumps up because this was just after Devil Wears Prada, runs up and gives her a kiss. And like, oh my goodness, that presence. And it's like the level of confidence, the level of self-understanding that is required to get there. It wasn't arrogance. It was not, there was zero arrogance. It wasn't like she greeted everyone graciously that was around her. But the presence was something that I have never before and never after seen.
True. That's actually, so what I'm saying is like, you just be yourself, but be respectful in a way that people don't get offended. Because if you have that kind of aura, it will radiate just from inside to outside. Like saying in a business, like when someone asks you, like, what about the market? Like, what if this is seasonal and you're out of the market? It's like, babe, don't tell me about the market because I am the market. Always, like have it in mind, I don't really care about the market now because I'm the market. All you have to do is just to be you. You know your value. Use that.
Yeah. Yes. You know your value, use it. And I think that's one of the things that people mess up on is that they try to match, instead of saying, this is what I bring and this is what I know my value is. And you see that on the stage with these women that are on that stage and they just shine. They shine and they shine and they shine. And it's nothing. And people go, what is that thing? And you have a hard time putting your finger on it. But the reality is that thing is this deep level of self-knowledge and confidence that comes with it.
Because they're sure of themselves. That's one of the things that we teach is like, don't aspire to be that queen. because that queen is there because she aspired to be herself. And that's why now everyone looks at her like, oh, I want to be her. But the thing is that if you're going to the
Mm-hmm.
competition and you'll be like saying, oh, I want to be like her, I'll be embodying this type of aura from this type of person, people will see that, oh, another Catriona Gray or another, you know, another Pia Wurtzbach. So no, you have to be you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to set the new um how do you call this? You have to set the new standard. Because if you keep on
Mm-hmm.
looking for like other queens and like getting something from them, you will not be your own self. You will not set the standard. This is the new season. You have to be the trend. So you set it out there. And
Mm-hmm.
people will admire you when you put yourself out there by being unapologetically you.
I love that. Unapologetically you. Whatever you can be you. Um,
Yeah.
right? Mindset versus opportunity. You often say that when your mindset shifts, doors open. Can you share a real
Sure.
story where your mindset created an opportunity that didn't exist before?
I think the mindset of being persistent, before I coming to Vietnam is like I don't speak the language as I told you I think last time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would always not belittle myself, but I believe or we believe like I believe in myself less before until
Mm.
I shift of mindset of no one knows me here. I can create my own persona.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
when the time came that I just like, okay, I'll be sending invitations. I mean, I'll know, not invitation, but I'll be sending emails or messages that, oh, can I go to your, because no one knows me. So nothing to lose. So I'll be like sending like messages to designers, to red carpets, like, can I come? Da 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 da. Most of them are left unseen, and most of them don't really actually respond. So okay,
Mm-hmm.
so if I cannot make you want me, I'll come to you. And so
Mm.
I have that kind of mindset of
Yeah.
just like, okay, if I'll just put myself out there and just show up,
Yeah.
being persistent and being relentless on what I want, on what we want as a whole, like with our pageant camp,
Yeah.
suddenly people started to notice. Even if we're not invited, like I'll be going there, I'll crush them, not crush like in a way, but I'll let them go inside first the event. Then I will like, okay, post the red carpet and pose it there until the engagement started to go. It's like it's basically not faking it till you make it, but it's more on like being persistent on what you want to achieve, being persistent when
I love that.
even when others say no, being able to show up.
Mm.
I think there's no such thing as there's no like specific word for like the specific mindset of like how it shifted, but I think just being able to show up. You just show up even if no one wants you. You have to
I
tell
love
yourself that
that.
people like you. You have to like yourself. The least thing that you wanted to do is to hate yourself. The least thing that you wanted to do is to be
Mm.
fake with yourself. The least thing that you wanted to do is to hide yourself from people. Because once you put yourself out there, right clients come. Even if you're not invited,
Yes.
even if people don't like you,
Right.
just go and show, and right clients come. And little
I
thing
love
that
it.
these people who declined us are the ones asking, do you
Mm-hmm.
have like, can you vacant your, why would I vacant my schedule for you? You didn't even like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm being crazy because going back to it, it gives us like me like a sense of pride to myself that I was like, okay, no one's inviting you, no one wants you, no one knows you, no one knows your name. And now they're like sending invitations. They're like, I want you to be the judge. I want you to walk to my fashion show. And I was like, let me check my schedule and I'll get back to you. I
I
didn't
love
put it
that.
like out there that I'm hating on people, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they said like the greatest revenge is just being silent. Don't do revenge because God will not do the revenge for you. And when you're lucky enough, God will let you watch the karma unfold.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I want to ask you a question. If you could give advice to a 16-year-old watching this, someone who's watching this, yeah, anyone, actually any age, and they feel torn between a safe path and something of passion, what practical advice would you give them on that?
I think uh, listen to your gut, because I think those ages are like it's meant for you to make mistakes, but always listen to
Mm-hmm.
your mom and dad too. Because
Mm,
of course, sometimes we really wanted something, but they've been through that path, and they just don't want you to commit the same mistake. But sometimes you have your own journey. Kids have their own journey. So for the parents, like, let them make their own mistakes, and from there they'll learn. But then,
I
if
love
you're
that.
gonna ask me, like, safe path, or the path of like the passion, it goes both hand in hand. But be ready to to accept the consequences of the actions, but just go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you learn in the process. Yeah, it's always like to the parents, that I will say, like, guide your children, because their children wouldn't be stray, wouldn't go stray if there's a support coming from the parents. But for the 16-year-old kid, try to commit as many mistakes as possible so that you don't do it when you're adult.
Mm,
you know yeah,
yeah.
just do it with intention. Do it with intention. But of course, listen to your parents, because they don't want any bad things for you. You just do it, but with intention. And that, if your heart is on the right track, if your heart has good intention on why you wanted to achieve something, you'll get it. And it's good when
Mm-hmm.
when you get it with people who will celebrate you, which is your family.
Mm-hmm. Where can people go to find out more about you and what you do?
Actually, yeah, we're now here in Vietnam. So we're based in Vietnam, and we have this RNG pageant camp. It's a small pageant camp, but because we cater more to everything, like from pageant coaching to catwalk training to Q&A to interviews. And so they just log onto, Instagram, where's Jethro, or Director Red, and also, yeah, RNJ Pageant Camp. So they'll be able to see everything there. Our work, our girls, the trainings that we do, then the things that we customize, trainings based on the person, based on the client. We don't just like, okay, you copy me. Oh, this is what you want. You want to be this beauty queen? Let's do it. No, we want you to be the best version of yourself. That when you go out there, people will look at it as like, oh, it's a new Hermes bag. It's like a something that eye catching that is you, uniquely you, and it's the first time that they see that. So it's all customized. We do it for the clients.